Hi everyone, Moshe Rothschild, the Global Israel Alliance, bringing you the summary of the news, December 19th, 2019. There's a lot happened this week, so I'm going to talk quickly. Blue and white leader Benny Gantz said that if he were to become the next prime minister, he would consider pardoning Benjamin Netanyahu, provided that Netanyahu would agree that he would step down from politics. The pardon would be an exchange, again, for this honorable retirement from politics. In the next election, which is coming up in March, Moshe Feiglin, the leader of the Zehut, the right-wing Libertarian Party, has said his party will not run in the election. The latest poll shows the Blue and White Party have a 6-seat advantage over the Likud, but that still would not give them the ability to form a left-wing government. There would not be enough seats. Netanyahu said this week, after meeting with the trade minister from Brazil, that Brazil has confirmed once again that they are going to move their embassy to Jerusalem by next year. Brazil is the largest country in South America. Lord Eric Pickles, the UK special envoy for post-Holocaust matters, told a conference in Jerusalem that the new conservative government in the UK, of course, that was elected under Boris Johnson, the landslide victory. We got rid of that guy Corbyn for now. They said that they would pass a law banning public agencies from engaging with anti-Israel boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. So that's good news. Israel and Montenegro signed a major defense contract worth $35 million. Okay, moving on. The Israel boutique hotel chain, the Brown Hotel, announced that they are going to be opening a hotel in the Ben Gurion Airport, and this will be the first and only hotel in Ben Gurion Airport. The energy minister of Israel, Yuval Steinitz, announced this week, or he approved, the export of natural gas from Israel to Egypt. It's very, very exciting. Israel is now an exporter. This deal is worth about $15 billion. That's a lot of money. He said that the export of gas to Egypt is the most significant economic cooperation between Israel and Egypt since the signing of the peace agreement between these two nations. The Shin Bet, which is Israel's equivalent of the FBI, announced that they had arrested 50 Palestinian terror suspects in recent weeks, including those believed to have murdered 17-year-old Rina Schnurb, who was murdered this past summer in August when she was in an outing with her father and her brother. Sources say, this is a very interesting story, that the Israeli military is considering canceling rocket alert signals. Why? Because more people get injured or hurt, or even, I don't know about killed, but more people certainly are injured by running to the safe rooms than are actually injured or killed directly by the rockets. So in a simple mathematical calculation, they're figuring it makes more sense not to tell people that the rockets are coming. So they're actually considering that right now. We'll see what happens. British newspapers reported that Hamas senior leaders are planning terrorist attacks against Israel from offices in Turkey and Istanbul, with the consent and full knowledge of Turkey's president. Turkey, remember, is a member of NATO, so this is not good news for Turkey. Of course, they have denied this report. Finally, the high-speed train between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv will be opening for business on Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, right after Shabbat. It will be finally completed after 11 years after it was due to open. Finally, it's open. I hope it runs faster now that the technology has probably changed in the last 11 years. Now, this is a crazy story. More than 40 Israeli civilians who landed on an El Al flight in Moscow. They were detained. They had their passports confiscated. They were all released after 2 hours of questioning and fingerprinting. Of course, I'm sure they were thinking about this young girl Naamah, who was caught with a small amount of marijuana and charged with drug trafficking. She received 7.5 years in jail. In Russia, this past week, in an appeal, the Russian courts denied her appeal. So at this moment, she's going to sit in jail for 7.5 years. So I'm sure they were very, very concerned. Prince Charles, the future King of England, plans to visit Israel in January to commemorate International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Intel acquired a Tel Aviv-based artificial intelligence chip developer called Habana Labs for $2 billion. That is a lot of money. Now, let's see a couple more stories. Israel drone maker, very exciting, set the world record for endurance. The drone flew for 25 hours. That's incredible. In the United States this week, they reported a boycott of Trader Joe's. It backfired. What happened? There was a professor from UC Berkeley, that great institution of liberalism, who announced that they should not buy from Trader Joe's because they were selling an Israeli cheese. And now there was a response, and everyone went and bought the Israeli cheese. See what happens when you tell people to cut the cheese. Okay, now the final story, the International Electronic Sports Federation. Honestly, I didn't even know such a thing existed. I thought sports were real, not on the computers. They announced this past week that Israel will host the eSports World Championships in November 2020 at the Ice Mall in Eilat. That's very, very exciting. Anyhow, folks, have a wonderful Shabbat or a great weekend, whatever you celebrate. Moshe Rothschild, the Global Israel Alliance. And this Sunday night is to celebrate the holiday of Hanukkah. For all those who are celebrating, we wish you a very, very happy Hanukkah.